This video is a quick discussion of range of motion. What is the best range of motion to use, and are there any points in the range of motion that we ought to exclude? The first thing to understand is something called insufficiency. An insufficiency is when a muscle loses its ability to create force, to produce force. It happens 2 times during a muscle's contraction. The first time is when the muscle is contracted as much as it can be. It's in the position of full or maximum contraction. And at this point, the actin and myosin filaments inside the muscle cannot overlap anymore. They're bumped up against each other, and you have active insufficiency. It's a point where the muscle cannot produce any more force. The other insufficiency is passive insufficiency, and it's the opposite. So it's in the position of full extension. It's when a muscle is stretched all the way out so that the actin and myosin filaments can't even touch each other. And so in these 2 positions, the muscle cannot produce a lot of force, and it's called an insufficiency. Now, here is the force curve for any given muscle. And remember, in strength training, force production is the key. That's what we're trying to do. So as this line slopes up to its peak and then back down, this middle part, that's where you're producing the most force. That's the good stuff. That is what we're after. And so anything that's not that is a waste of our time. And it turns out it can also be dangerous for the joints in some cases. Active insufficiency over there to the left, that's that squeeze you get at the top of a bicep curl or at a tricep press down and you squeeze out, or a leg extension machine. And it feels really good, almost like the beginnings of a cramp sometime, but it feels great. You feel like you need to get that position of full contraction, but despite how it feels, look again at the graph. You're not capable of producing a lot of force in that range of motion because you've entered into an active insufficiency. There's nothing that can be accomplished in that range of motion that is not better accomplished in the effective range of motion, right in the middle. On the other hand, some people like to get a good stretch, full range of motion. They're doing chin-ups or pull-downs, and they get a good stretch at the shoulder, or they're in a bench press, and they go all the way down to the chest, no matter what's happening at the shoulder joint. And it feels good. It feels relaxing. It feels like a stretch, which feels nice. But again, we're trying to get that force production in the middle. And when we spend time out to the right, we can't produce that much more force. We're wasting time out there, just chasing a feeling. And so a lot of people say, no, I want to get stronger in the stretch. But realize that the shape of this curve is not subject to change by training. It's mechanical in nature. It's filaments sliding. It's how muscles contract. And so no matter how much time you spend over here to the right in passive insufficiency, it will never be stronger than this part right in the middle. You'll never be able to produce more force out here to the right than you will right here in the middle. And so if we're trying to maximize force production, there's no good reason to get out of this middle range. There's no way to get stronger in the stretch or stronger at full contraction without also getting stronger in the middle. And the reverse is true too. If you get stronger in the middle, this whole curve moves up in proportion, and it maintains its shape because you can't change it based on training, because it has to do with how your fibers overlap. So with any strength training, but especially with ARX strength training, you want to take people through the effective range of motion. That is, there's no good reason for them to move into active insufficiency, and there's no good reason for them to move into passive insufficiency. If you keep them right in the middle to the safe, effective range of motion, they will accomplish everything they need to accomplish from strength training, and they'll get all the benefits of which they are capable. So, because of these insufficiencies, there's no reason to get into a big squeeze or a big stretch. Keep them right in the middle, simple, efficient, and safe.